welcome in. I'm gonna turn that light on. Sorry, I'm a little late. I'm like an hour late. I got lost in meditation. Hubat. Greetings. When y'all pop in. Um. Let me see here. I'm seeing what decks. Alright. I kind of want to use the Tarot of Shadows first. Loki. So we'll start with that. Let's see what what's going on in the shadow. What could be going on in this shadow, I should say. Remember that this reading is not going to resonate with everyone, and that it's a personal, an internal reading, not an external reading. So any sort of externalized emotions, though they may pop up, they're not supposed to be projected outward, but supposed to be realized as that being the cause of area for healing. And as I'm saying that, mirrors must have pop out too. That's hilarious. Thank you for coming through like that, Spirit. But remember that any sort of externalized emotion or externalized person that you feel popping up in this reading is to show you what area and what thing you need to heal and detach from. It's not to just scapegoat, it's to see what's going on so you can better understand why you may be related to it, so you can release it and move on. Not be attached to certain energies anymore. So let's go on, let's see what's popping up. I'm going to shuffle 2 more times. And then get the split and draw like 2 cards, 2, 3 cards. Alright, so we have 1, 2, and we'll draw 1 from you. Alright, so we have Voodoo Ritual, False Prophets, and Necromancy. It's funny, we have one of the major arcanas coming out, and that's Necromancy, Libra energy. Let's remember what Voodoo Ritual is. A potential accident, negative effects, suppression of one's will, moral or physical violence, elimination, negativity, pressure, oppression, obsessive behavior, failure, desiring excessive controls of other people's lives, victimization, and heart problems. Okay, so when I was getting this, when I was reading through all of them, pressure is the one that stuck out the most. There may be an external pressure. And then 32. The page the last sentence of this whole Voodoo Ritual is, despite the doctor's efforts, he died some hours later at the age 32, and that goes down to 5. So there's some sort of like external change going on, and that's so funny. False Prophets is 23, so definitely 5 and 9 are the big numbers. Because Necromancy is also number 9 as well. That's hilarious. So 5 and 9 are the big 2 numbers to be focusing on for the numerology purposes. There's like a test that's happening. It feels like this test is ending something, but there's a lot of pressure behind it. This pressure, I don't feel like this is someone pressuring you or something pressuring you to do something. I feel like this pressure is being released. This may have been a false sense of needing to do more, when in actuality you needed to do less. Or the feeling of trying to make something more extravagant or spectacular more than the need to do that, just to seem to draw either more energy, more attention, or finance something in. You don't need to work as hard to draw something in. This is about a higher frequency of knowing, of being in, not working as hard, and expecting more to come to you, being able to get into your own flow of working, and then allowing everything to flow in that way. It's also giving, excuse me, there's a, damn, what, it was in my head, it popped out. Oh yeah, okay, thank you. It's also giving, like, not working hard, for one, and getting your own work regimen. It's also giving, the need to not care about others as much. Not caring about an opinion. If someone it's giving the energy of even, like, you comparing yourself to others, thinking that you need to do something in a more spectacular way. doing something in a grander way. But there's this energy, like, you don't have to like continue listening to people. There's a lot of ignorance and arrogance that people want to show up on because they're not able-minded, either mentally, physically, emotionally, to grasp anything other than what they desire to have. Is giving the energy of not focusing on that. A lot of times you'll meet people who and you know, I'll love using myself as an example, and especially everyone in this chat. I don't know who you telling to repent. You need to go repent. Do you know what that word means? I don't think you do. Anyway, it's this energy of people, because they want to pop up. We'll use them as an example. They like to be used as an example. That's why they're here. They're AI, they're robots. Their only purpose is to be used as an example to try and troll. That's what they're coded to do. They don't have anything actually useful in life. They just troll. So we're going to use them as an example. We're just going to let them use them as an example because I love it. Anyway, take these people who are in the chat, type in a bunch of bullshit that they don't even know what they're talking about in chat. These people are programmed to only tell you what you don't want to either hear, or things that don't apply to you, right? These are beings that were just born, they were coded, they don't have any actual true purpose when it comes to things. They come in and they try to dig at parts of you that you yourself have cleansed out. Take it as Saturn giving you that test, because again, then we have false prophets here. We'll go to 23 real quick and read about that. Oh damn, where is 23 at? White lies begets lie begets a lie, hidden truth, information distortion, and secrecy. There's this energy, especially with just how people are in life, where they tend to, I don't think, because they like, you notice how these people, I'm going to call this one out specifically. When this person says paganism, do they understand what paganism means? They don't understand. They just said it right there. They don't know what paganism is. These people are just AI doing this, and you need to realize that, especially if you do run. They just said yes and agreed to it. Thank you for agreeing to it. You can leave now. Thank you for just proving your entire existence. I'm just gonna let you know. Regardless, these people, especially if you're running an online business or even just in general, these are the individuals that don't. Honey, I mean, you shouldn't be dead. You shouldn't be dead in this chat. If you dead, why are you here? Regardless, these are the types of individuals that the system, that this world has people, that this world binds to. This world binds people in. And these are a lot of the people who try to tell lies and falsities, believing that they know one thing when they don't really know. These are, yeah, do you know what the word pagan means? No shit, Sherlock. But even then, at that point, they're not, because you don't even know the same book that you're reading. Anyway, there are people who believe they know things. And this is what this, I feel like this, what this is to test the challenges, is showing you, despite what's going on. I mean, necromancy is hilarious that comes out. It's just giving that same, I don't want to say the same because it's a different elevation of it. It's the balancing of the scales almost, where you have to overstand and overwill certain things in life when it comes to not necessarily opposition, but the husks of the land. I'll say it that way, because when you are venturing out, when you are leaving the shadow part of you, the part that was hidden, and you come to the light again, after you remove those roots, those ties, doing that root work that's internalized and leaving that, it becomes this test of overstanding who people are and what they're actually desiring to do. It shows you the people that are daft, that aren't experienced within life, that don't have an actual process to think. They just look and say things. They don't have much. They are summoned. These are entities that have no actual vessel of their own. They're being held by people. I mean, look, that coding of the person is named Jesus Christ, not even knowing what those two words mean or even what they're even doing. They're so broken and their code is so out of whack that they've just resorted to spamming one word over and over again. If that doesn't prove to you how much power that one person can have over a group of others, I don't know what will. But allow yourself to know that you are this energy source for these beings who have no actual self-control. They have no actual self-representation. They go with the coding that they were given, whatever that coding would be. That would be the matrix, the input and output. What they have decided to resolve and enter with all their coding, what they've decided to ingest is what they can only, regurgitate back out. They have no actual true being. And this is what I feel like. This is just a gigantic thing. I feel like this reading was really just talking about that. But that's how it is. When it comes down to you doing your own thing, you have to understand that there are going to be codings of people around you. And these are codes and programs that you yourself broke out of. These are old programs that you never once subscribed to or you just were around. So you have to understand that when you're breaking out of it. There's a lot of and here it is. There's the devil. These people are literally just bound. You have Saturn's cube down there. Just being aware of your senses, being aware of how you decide to react to things. Not allowing the energy to change you, but allowing yourself to control it. Understanding that the gravitational pull of you and your craft will always have a need for those who are blind and those who are bound to this realm. Those who are having a materialistic having a matter over mind mindset, where they are controlled by what they see rather than controlling what they see. Allow yourself to free yourself, because it's like you freed yourself, or you have been freeing yourself. And whenever you free yourself from certain paradigms, from certain old ways of being, from certain obstacles that you go through, there are always going to be mirrors of that obstacle coming back around to try and bind you back, to try and get you to operate on that lower energy. And a lot of times these people are doing that because they don't know how to react. I'll just use them as an example. I know we weren't going to read about other people in this, but because so many of them were summoned, I'll just help them out a little bit and try and get their coding re-rich so they can understand some things, because a lot of people, it's just funny. It's just funny to me. What do I need to repent from? What am I repenting? I'll repent you. Like, go away. Like, you got nothing else to do at 1 o'clock. That's crazy. But these energies, when they at you, when they see you, there is literally a part of their brain. I forgot what part it is, but it's damn, what, I don't know if it's like a frontal lobe or like where it's at. I forgot, but there's a part of the brain that has this reptilian part in it. Like all brains have that animalistic part of it, and you start to realize those that are acting out in flashy manners, for lack of a better term at this time, are still operating out of that animalistic energy. And though we still have it inside of us, other people will definitely come around and try and pull it out. But this is what you've been working out of the biting people era and stepping into more of this internalizing thing, understanding what's going on, understanding, no, it's more than ego. Ego is something different. Ego is different from this part of the brain we're talking about. Ego has nothing to do with animals. Animals might have the ego complex, but the ego has nothing to do with animals. And it's this reactionary part of the brain that a lot of people still need to work through, that you might even be working through yourself on certain things as well when it comes down to it. But understanding why you're choosing to react rather than reacting and then figuring out why later is the big key point of the healing journey, so that you control what you're doing more and allowing the external around you to do what they wish to do. At the end of the day, people have this control complex. And once you learn to fully control yourself, when these past energies come around, they'll feel like they can do something, or that they're making a change, or that they can control you, rather than just laying down and experiencing what's going on. Some people are not aware of their own behaviors at the end of the day. And this is part of the healing journey of where you become aware of yours, because it's not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself, allowing your inner child to know that it's not being ignored, but allowing it to know that it needs to sit down and relax, allowing that internal teenager version of you to not be so sporadic and jump at people and threaten them and mock them, and instead show it that is just a part of growing, letting it go through that maturity phase. Not jumping so quickly, even with the Seven of Cups again, not jumping so quickly to your emotions, not, because the 7 in reverse that's jumping to something. 7 upright would just be to wait. It's all about waiting, about patience. The energy of the internalized work that you do, these AI, these bots that come at you, get a some form of self-gratification when it comes to tearing someone down or seeming like they have more or something of that regard. Not really sure. But it's important to understand the gravitational pull. Understand, especially because this is like something that you're building up for yourself, or you're getting ready to step out with a new business or a new job or anything of that nature. You're going to have individuals who are only coded to be disagreeables. They're only coded to mock and try to humiliate. That's their own coding. That's what they have in their DNA. That's something that they need to work through. Not holding that against them in a grudge, understanding that you used to be in a position like that, and that they are just past versions of yourself who haven't quite yet molded. They haven't popped out yet. They haven't grown. They haven't had that maturity awareness. It's all code at the end of the day. It's all matrix. When people talk about the matrix, I always ask them, what matrix? What is the matrix? Because the matrix is a movie. What is a matrix? And that will tell you what people try to understand and try to get at when they say the matrix. There is no the matrix. There is a matrix that a person involves himself in. A matrix is a system of inputs and outputs. That's all it is. That's a matrices. You can look that up. A matrix has nothing to do, and a lot of people within the spiritual community got, when they watched the Matrix movie, they then just started calling things the Matrix without understanding what it meant. And it's a series of inputs and outputs, ones and zeros, controlling something and submitting to something. And that's what you have to understand when it comes down to things. So these other individuals that may be popping up around you, or these past events with necromancy, things from the past or things from the internal going external, of, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that. Those matrices that you've healed internally now need to be experienced externally to have the full realm of it being able to leave. You know what I mean? It's not only the inner but the outer work of a wound. When you cut yourself, the white blood cells flood to the surface first. They get, they start, flushing out all the blood. They get to coagulate. The other blood cells come into scab forms. All that internal work that happens before the scab happens is what's happening when you're doing the shadow and root work. Now, when that scab comes, even though it's a sore eye, it's on the physical though, and that shows you of that healing. It shows you of what you've already accomplished, of what's already been done. And stepping into that energy, moving forward with however it is. Even if this is you removing how you talk a certain way to yourself. If this is, it's a bound past cycle that was so quick to jump onto, something that would just cause you to trigger, something that would cause you to be very reactionary rather than internalizing what was truly going on and truly happening at those moments. It could be false prophecy that you spoke over your life of saying you can't do something, or something's too much, or something's too grand for you to have. It could be that you're breaking those habits. Now you're starting to see almost where that's come back to you in the sense of the physical, where you have all these big dreams, and instead of facing it with the same energy of, oh, I can't because XYZ, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're now looking at it as, I can do that. Now I need to devise a plan to get from one point to another. And that's what you're trying to do with this. And I'm not going to delete these bots, because the more they comment, the more attention this channel will get, and the more we can lead people down the right path. So they might not be aware of it, but they're just helping this channel out. They're just helping people see what it's like when you internalize it so much. You know what I mean? When you're able to see something externally, you'll learn from it in a different way. So even though it might be annoying to see, you have to understand it's annoying to your higher self to hear you say certain things about yourself on the physical plane. And it shows you how silly it is. It shows you how immature it is. It shows you how wild it is. And that's what you need to look at when it's projected that way. And that's why that's why I don't really care about these individuals. I'll use them as an example. I'll give them an extra purpose for their coding, of course, but I'm not going to panic and be like, oh, the whole stream's fucked up because of it. I don't give a fuck. They're wasting their time and their energy. I'm giving them the one shot of their one job that they have to complete so bad. And that's perfectly fine. I can have room for them. We're not a gated community over here. Anyone is welcome, but just like, if no one pays attention to you, then you're doing something wrong. That's all I can say. With the Two of Swords, it's all about clearing the mind, allowing the unknown to exist, but knowing that the unknown isn't a bad thing. You can change what you don't know. If you can't predict something, you can change it. Even when you can predict something, there are certain things that you can change about it as well. But when the unknown is there, when the darkness is there, when you're surrounded in the dark by the two thoughts there, you don't have to allow those two thoughts to be the barriers of how far you can go. You're allowed to express yourself even more. You're allowed to have more adventure, more fun. A lot of times, especially with how people are describing words these days, people will think light is good and dark is bad, when that's not it at all. When you close your eyes and go to sleep, is that bad because you're seeing darkness then? You know what I mean? If you see someone get shot on the street, is that good because that was light that allowed you to see that? You have to understand these things. Light only means to be seen, and dark is only to be hidden. Those are the words, and that's what they mean. A lot of people don't understand that, and that's like their first confusion. But I know not everyone doesn't know that, but it's good to remind and to keep that fresh information in, so that when the old shows itself again, you're able to understand what they're trying to actually say rather than what their definition of the word is. It's about understanding these words. And in that dark energy, when you're closing your eyes, when you can't see a path forward, that's when creativity sparks. That's when you're able to create all that you desire. That's when you're able to create everything that you need, or anything that you would want in that energy. And it takes you walking away from that mindset, from the masculine, upright even. The masculine's hobbling and following the feminine, and he's barking at her. The Five of Pentacles represents being barked at by your mind. You're like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, you're leading us the wrong way, why are you going this way? Confusion, fear, are you sure you know where you're going? But the emotional side of you has been questioned so much throughout the years of your existence that it becomes a burden. In reverse, you're no longer questioning that emotional side of you. You're no longer allowing that barking sensation, that irresistible, quote unquote, irresistible urge to kick in, that animalistic instinct, that need to have instant gratification to come through, and you allow yourself to enjoy that journey. You allow yourself to open a new door that you walk past. Because if you notice, both the people on the card, they're not even looking. They're not necessarily, like, the only one looking at the window is the masculine. And at that point, it's like you might be seeing something clearly, but you're not able to have the energy, the reserve to move forward. In reverse, you're able to see it all. You're able to walk forward with it and take action to it. You're opening up your energy reserves. You're opening up the pathway to the success or to the ending or to the result that you're desiring. Allowing yourself to move forward in that. Allowing your five senses to not be inflamed. Allowing yourself to sit down and cooperate with the 2 and the 5. Allowing yourself to really sit down and conjoin. Remember that you're a twin individual. You're a twin individual. You have 2 parts of you, the agreeable and the disagreeable. And the disagreeable will always bicker and fight, and the agreeable will always allow things to happen and understand that because that happened, there was something that caused it. And when that reaction happens, you can choose how you react to the consequence or the sequences of cons. Whether that con affects you in a good way or a bad way, the con is just an opposite of a pro. So it's not always a bad thing, but it's a bad thing as it goes against the original plan. Allowing yourself just to see that and to experience that and to move through that. Allowing yourself to see that because this one thing didn't work out, it's now led me down a new path where I don't have to walk backwards anymore. I can walk forward and keep in mind of all the experiences, all the trials that already went on. And with the 6 of Cups, it's about and it's funny, it's the 5 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, allowing that masculine side of you to come back, giving a peace offering to your feelings, allowing yourself to make peace with yourself, allowing the disagreeable to end up disagreeing with itself and come to the agreeable and say, this isn't what I would like to do, but it's what I have to trust at this time. And trusting that process, trusting the flow of life, trusting in yourself, trusting in the power that God gave you, the breath of life that the divine gave you, trusting in that and moving forward fully. And that's the main purpose of really going on the spiritual path, is learning how to cooperate with yourself as you are the divine, internally to external. It's not an up and down situation. It's an internal external situation. Just as you can see things externally, when you go deep within, you can see things internally. When you are able to relax and trust in yourself and know that all you see will not hurt you. All you experience will be over before it started if you allow it to happen. If you allow it to occur, to see what's going on, to understand the lesson. And a lot of times we don't wish to learn these lessons because we seem them to be hard or difficult. But remember, there was a sequence of actions that happened before that reaction. It's about letting that happen naturally, being unrestricted, allowing yourself to manifest and create miracle in your life within that darkness of the unknown. And that's how these things will start. That's how miracles and manifestation happens. It's in the dark. It's when you release control and allow yourself to attach. It's the law of detachment. You can detach yourself from the outcome you don't desire and attach it to one that you do. Allowing yourself to not only just attach to it, but assume that it will always work out. Attaching to a grander, a brighter solution. A solution that will be better for you. But it takes time. It's going to take that internal digging. It's going to take that going down the passageway. It's going to take you of going through that rough waters, that opposition, that pressure from the opposing force, that whatever you're facing, whether the opposing force be an actual like physical thing on the external or a thing on the internal, a job, a place, a location, a lack of something, it's moving through that lack, accepting that lack, and then knowing that that lack will be filled. As you can't fill a full bowl, you have to have an empty bowl to fill it. And it's talking, the Six of Swords talks a lot about moving forward despite the thoughts that you have. It's a treacherous journey. Your emotions are protected because you know what you have to do. You no longer feed into those lower vibrational feelings of it's not going to work out, it's going to be rough, all these things. And you delve deep inside yourself, which is where God resides. God is within. God is in triple darkness. God is everywhere. It is everywhere. It is, period. And understanding that and knowing that when you fully accept the energy, the power, the force that is within you, as well as externalized all around you, when you cooperate with it on such a level, you won't have to worry with these emotions, these feelings of things not working out, with things not being the way you want. You won't have to worry about putting so much stress and pressure on things, accepting things to come in, knowing that they will, and allowing yourself to truly and fully surround yourself in that golden blanket, so you're always protected. Let me get that real quick. Let me show you on the 6. Why can't I not pick you up? But there, on the female is covered in the golden blanket, allowing yourself to be protected by that. The masculine's doing all the work. You're doing all the work, knowing things are going to work out, knowing that despite how rough the waters are, you're going to make it to the end. The swords are there, those thoughts, those words that you either repeat in your head, or the thoughts that you see, or the thoughts that end up being externalized, are always going to be there. But they're on the ship. They have to move with you. They have to be along that journey. That journey is what's going to protect you. What you do is you work through those thoughts. There's not a need to feel those thoughts. When you know something isn't for you, when you know something isn't correct, when you know, and it's not about believing, it's about knowing. When you know these things, you'll see that these thoughts are just passengers, and you're proving those thoughts wrong. You can't have an opinion exist with the fact. And that's what you do in this life, is you show yourself the opinions of, oh, what, I can't do this because XYZ. That's an opinion. It becomes a fact whenever it becomes reality. That fact of I can't do it becomes a fact when you refuse to do it, which makes you unable to do it, which then makes you able, that makes it to where you can't. But when you're facing those opinions of yourself of being, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, but go through it anyway, you show yourself that you do go through it, that you are able to go through it, that you're pushing through. In the Ten of Swords reverse, it gets you away from those defeatist attitude. It keeps you away from that energy of thinking horribly on yourself, or ending up cursing yourself, or this ritualistic thinking of everything's going to go wrong or everything's against me. All these things end up disappearing. Your conscious self ends up seeing the truth of it, seeing that you are creating things, seeing that how it's been programmed and how it's been thinking no longer stands firm. It no longer stands strong. You're able to move forward in a greater, brighter, more grandeur way. And that's what the whole point of you stepping out and starting anew is. Even if this is like you getting a new job or a new place or ever, these thoughts that are coming up against you, maybe even a denial from a job or a denial from a place, don't allow that to defeat you, because that's part of the process. That's part of the process to show you what new you could do. Maybe that location wasn't one of the locations you wanted to be in. All these things, everything around you is happening for a reason. And when you internalize it as not it being an attack of force, but being a force to show you that you're clinging on to this too much, you were clinging on to an idea, a person, place, thing, however. And an idea can go stretch as far from like a plan to finances. You know, everything that we have on this earth started out as an idea. It always is an idea. This, oh my, what the heck is that? I don't know what that was. Did y'all see that too? The sun on the screen? Thank you for whatever that was. Oh shit, I know what that was. That was the fucking, it's Raw, yeah, for real. Raw just popped up and gave me a wink. I was like, what? I don't know if y'all seen that. That was funny. No, but thank you. Thank you for that. I don't know who did it, but thank you. That's the first time I seen a gift. I felt like I was on TikTok for a second. I was like, what the hell? What platform did I come on? No, but that's what that's the process that goes through. And remember, everything is an idea. You're always faced with an idea. Like, I'll just use that as an example. That sun that popped up, that was an idea. Someone thought about doing that. Like, someone had to think about that to exist, for it to do its thing. And when it came up to me, the idea that I had is, I don't know what that is. I knew it was a sun, but I didn't know what caused it to occur, right? It's all those ideas. Same thing with day-to-day life. When you apply for something and it doesn't work out, there was an idea at first of, I'm going to apply to this. Now, just because you apply to it doesn't always mean it's 100% yes. It's a 50-50 gamble. So when you have the idea, if it works out, good. If it doesn't, good. Don't make one more special than the other. If you like it, good. If you don't like it, good. It's okay. Allow that to be. Allow it to flow. Allow yourself to get into more of a flow of life. It's the part of showing gratitude. It's the part of understanding that these ideas that you're faced with, these ideas that other people might be faced with when they meet you, these ideas that you're faced with when you face yourself even, all these ideas that you're faced with, you end up realizing that they're not as solid, that they are seen as what you desire them to see, and you can flip it. You can choose to pick up a piece of paper and throw it in the trash can when you see it down the hallway, or you could choose not to. There's not really a bad repercussion, depending on, like, if you're like littering and you do it and then you get caught, that's, that's different. But, like, you know what I mean? There's always an action after that happens. You throw away the paper and all of a sudden you end up feeling a little bit better about yourself because you cleaned up the place, or you didn't throw the paper away, and then the curiosity factor gets to you. What was on that paper? Why was the paper there in the first place? All these things, though they're not good or bad, but they generate these ideas. They generate these ideas, these feelings, these new circumstances that you have to exist in. And the process of life is very funny like that, because it's all broken down with code. And that code is, you see something, you feel it, you sense it. And it's really feeling, because the only sense we have is feel. So you feel something, you're faced with something, you feel it. However that makes you feel, you react. Whether that reaction's an internal, external, actionary, inactionary, however, you respond to it, and however you do. And then after that, things will occur. Whether it's, again, internal, external, however, it's always going to occur. Understanding that form of life is what helps you see things more clearly. Instead of, and this is what I used a lot with my healing journey, a lot, where I would have people from my past pop up in my dreams, or like in my meditations, I'd randomly think of them. Instead of thinking that they were doing something to me, I seen them as they were. And I was like, okay, instead of me saying that they're doing something to me, instead of giving them the power over my experience that I'm having with their imagery being presented to me, I'm now going to see what they desire to show me. Because if I'm drawing them up from my own vault, what do they have to tell me? What do they need to tell me? Maybe it's a feeling of regret that they might have deep down that you never got. Maybe it was just you needing to experience their energy a little bit longer, because there were certain memories or certain vibrations that needed to occur within you still. But because you didn't want to see it in the physical, you had to see it in a different way. You know what I mean? Everything has that deeper meaning of helping you move on and move forward. It's not always this evil, dastardly projection. It becomes that projection whenever you attract that same old energy to it. Then it becomes personal. It's always personal, because it's happening to the person, it's happening to you. It becomes a personal issue, right? But it's not always as dire or scary as it seems at first. That's that thought process. That's that animalistic, that's that binding energy. with the devil. That's the energy that you're stuck in. That's the energy that a lot of people are stuck in, that keep them in a cycle of fear, a cycle of not being able to move forward, a cycle of not being able to see things clearly. And once you break that by internalizing it in a completely different way and seeing what's going on within yourself, it has not with the other person, but with yourself, as you summon them, in the sense of you seen them. They might not see you, but you seen them. And this even goes as far as witchcraft. Even if someone is projecting themselves towards you, which with witchcraft, it's because there's something inside of you that's attracting them to do that. Now, of course, they have their own system that they're working under. Maybe they just want to do it for their own reasons or however, you know. But when it comes to you, when it comes to your energy, when you experience it, that's when you have the control. That's when it becomes your playing field. And that's the whole point of this healing journey, is being able to stand strong and understand that when they come to you, whatever form they do, it's for you to control. And you can transmute that for healing purposes. You can transmute that for giving you your energy back, that they're in your energy. You can just have their energy too. They're bringing it to you. You don't have to take it as an attack. Take it as a gift. Take it as something that's going to be more beneficial rather than stirring up from the fear, you know? And even after the experience, you can always just say, I do not consent to anyone leeching from whatever chakra that you felt pushed towards, whatever energy you felt being drained, whatever you feel like you need to say, you can always say you don't consent to. The power, using the word consent, adds a lot more power to it, because when you don't have those boundaries with consent laid down, people can come in and do whatever they want. It's an energetic thing. The energy is different than how the physical realm works. The spiritual realm acts differently than the physical realm works. Flesh doesn't have to abide by consent. That is something within the spirit of that person and their own control and their own matrix and their own programming. When it comes to the realm of spirit, you can say you don't consent, or that you do consent to certain things, and that will allow more or less of those to come into your energy. It's up to you to allow that consent to stay firm, whether it's agreeable or disagreeable, consent being out there. But that's the test. And again, it's about not waiting too long either, with the Nine of Wands, not waiting too long, not holding on to the idea of someone doing something to you for so long that it now becomes detrimental to you, something that now becomes a headache. Well, that's why the bandage on the head, something that your consciousness is unable to make pure, the red over the white, where it's become bloodied, where it's unpure, but that purity still is there. You're just needing to relax and to choose what you desire to experience. And it takes practice when you're not in the swing of doing it. It takes a certain amount of control when it comes down to it. But understanding that you do have that control. And all the wands on the card even, they all have leaves on it. That's firewood. The leaves on the wands means that it's able to burn. It's living. It's a resource that you're able to use. You can burn it. It will be abundant. So when you're around all those wands of abundance, and abundance doesn't even mean good or bad. Abundance just means an amount of, an exceeding amount of. So when you're faced with these ideas, or faced with a bunch of energy that's around you, you can always transmute it. It's coming towards you in live. It comes to you in life, and it allows you to move forward. And that's where you get these thoughts, the crowned thought, the Ace of Swords. That's when the divine is able, not even allowing, but is able to give you the thought that this idea needs you to see, without having the repercussion of things not working. There hasn't been a cup pop out in a while, other than the Six of Cups and the Seven of Cups reversed. But it's giving this energy of not attaching yourself emotionally to things, not allowing the idea to drudge up the emotion that you need to get you to move forward. But if it fails, don't lose that energy. You can call it back for a new idea. That didn't work, so I'll just, I won't stress myself about it. I'll worry about it for a few seconds or a few minutes, however I need to do, and then I'll go on to a new idea. Remember that you're always faced with ideas, and even though something seems unsure or unable, you can overcome. You can see the truth of it. You are still able to get that grounding thought. And this is the process of life that we're talking about. This is the whole process of life. Some people don't know what the process of life is because they haven't lived. They've lived by someone else's process of life. They've lived under a system of you can do this and you can't do that, rather than understanding that they are their own being and being able to move forward and being able to experience their own life. And that's the whole gist of this thing. This is the whole point of the awakening. Understanding that you don't have to follow by guidelines and rules made by someone else for your life. For those that can't see, they'll just be blind to it and they'll follow down with the system and they'll be disagreeable. But when it comes down to those who are aware, who have the conscious power to be able to control the reality around them in the sense of moving on their own or doing what they desire to do, you get that understanding of I can just choose what rules apply to me and what rules don't. And the ones that don't apply to me are because I don't go down those certain paths. It allows you to see the control. It allows you to have that the gratification of God, that the will that God gave you already, so that you can move forward and do all that you're desiring to do. And with the Four of Cups reverse, because it's very interesting that came out after the Ace of Swords. It's this emotional value still. It's again not meditating on the emotion, not dumping out all your cups, not dumping out everything. You're no longer in that meditative pose, contemplating on what to do next. You're now up. You're now, away from that position. You're now standing up. All the cups have been knocked out. It feels like, don't allow the failures. Allow yourself to be agreeable. If something doesn't work out, that's good. There's other options for you. Don't allow that one thing going wrong to make you feel like nothing else will work. That's the cycle. That's the stagnancy cycle that a lot of people end up getting stuck in. The Ten of Wands reversed. Again, don't overbearing yourself. Don't allow all of the ideas that you've been carrying almost fall flat. Don't let your hard work fall flat. Don't allow the burden of one small thing become a mountain. Having that control, having that resource inside of you, having that I really want to call it the fountain of youth, and I don't know why, because it's that energy of infinite supplements that you have inside of you, that we all have inside of us, but it's up to us to really nurture it, to understand that when something doesn't work out, it's giving us our energy back. It's giving you something that you desired to have. It's giving you something that you may have overextended, not lost, but overextended, and you're able to take back now from what you have, from what you may have seemed as being lost, but not actually being lost. Let me get a few more from this, and then we'll do something else real quick. But overall, the test, the going back to the 9 and the 5, it's all about this test of your senses. How far are you going to go down a path before you realize that this is an unconscious reactionary response that you're going through, instead of seeing that what you're experiencing is only trying to drudge up an idea and allowing the idea to flourish and be full. Because in this age, we're really going to start seeing a split of people, and they're going to be able to be put into the categories of agreeable and disagreeable. Those that are able to hold their own ground and agree that, agree to not only conversations, but agree to different ideas, different living points. And then the disagreeable, those that try and force others to do their own bidding, force others into a box, force others back down. And we're slowly stepping towards that age where you're really going to start seeing those types of people pop up more and more. You might even see that happen within yourself, where you'll end up disagreeing with something that's happening, and you have to recheck yourself, become that agreeable, not being polarized, not being stuck in a dual state where you're praising both the agreeable and the disagreeable, but agreeing and not agreeing to disagree. Because when you agree to disagree, you immediately disagree. That's literally how that statement goes. Is what that statement means. You agree to disagree. You're now disagreeing. So now you are disagreeable because you've agreed to become disagreeable. Understand? Your goal is not to be disagreeable, it's to be agreeable, to allow things to exist as they are, to allow yourself to have a question, and not to belittle, but to question, to get an understanding of that person, not to change them, not to convince them of anything otherwise, but to really just sit down and see where they're coming from. That's the whole point of being connected. That's the whole point of having a community. Everyone wants to say, we need to get together, but they don't allow themselves to know that other person to any type of degree. You have to ask questions. You have to know where that person's coming from, how that person identifies things. Know how that person lives, what their lifestyle, what their matrix is, what their ins and outs are, what they're doing. And then, after that, whatever happens down the line is what happens down the line. But that's how the connection happens. The point of it all being is just being agreeable, knowing that other people are that way, and then agreeing to it in yourself, allowing yourself to know that the ones that you're around, even if they're not doing something on purpose, you know when someone's doing something on purpose. You know when someone's trying to get under your skin on purpose. You know when someone's trying to come at you in a negative way. But once you know that, you also have to know, is this me or is it them? And that's where it becomes the agreeable and disagreeable. If you agree that this action is happening, then how is it happening? And you have to look at it at a deeper level. You don't have to, of course, you do whatever you want. But this is the deeper measurements of that healing journey. This is all the stuff that happens within your subconscious. But it happens so quickly because we're so used to life going so quickly and moving so fast that we don't have time to really calculate these things. It's up to us having this information. Even if you don't do this stuff, it's the fact that you've just heard it. It's in your subconscious now, and it might pop up later on, and it might be years from now. You get in an argument like, wait, am I arguing with them or am I arguing with myself because I don't understand something? And it becomes that sort of degree where it works through you. It ends up changing not only yours but everyone else's around you because it's a different reaction. That's how we change things, is internalized. We overstand things, we understand things on a different level that then changes others without us needing to force anything. That's the whole point. It's the same thing as how, you can even look at the government's not really forcing any sort of law. How many people that are still strung out on drugs, but they're not getting put in the slammer for being on those harder drugs or whatever? You know what I mean? They're not being enforced. Enforcement's not how you change things. It's the outer outcome. If one person sees someone do something, someone else is most likely going to do it because they're looking for what to do, what not to do. And if they see one person not doing it, they're probably not going to do it either because we're not taught to think for ourselves. We're not taught these things. So instead of enforcing and saying you can't do this, you can't do that, educate, explain why. You have a reason for why it's happening. Agree to yourself to let yourself know that you can express it. And then agree to yourself that people are going to come in with their own opinions, with their own way of life. And it's not about you telling them about their way of life being incorrect or insignificant. It's about understanding their point of life. Though they may come at you in a different energy, at the end of the day, when it comes to you, you can change that energy into something else and understand why. If they don't want to explain, that's okay. If they do explain, that's okay. Keeping it level, keeping it balanced, not saying that if they respond, it's going to be horrible, and if they don't respond, it'll be blissful. Don't do that, because then that unevens the scale. And then when they do respond, you have to battle yourself with, oh, well, since they responded, now I have to respond back, and they're going to argue. It might have just been a conversation that you misunderstood. And that's the Seven of Wands, waiting when you see these ideas. Next time you are faced with an idea, sit back and look at it. Don't be so reactionary. Look at it. Figure out what's going on. Why do I want to react this way? Why do I not even want? Why am I desiring to act in this way? What part of me is wanting to react this way? What part of me is making this reaction form in me? And it's not always something that can be overstood at the start of it, but allow yourself just to look at it like that. Allow yourself to see it and just be like, I'm going to react this way, but I don't have to externalize this reaction. I can keep it internal. And when you keep it internal, even if you do react differently on the external and you keep it internal, you'll see why. You'll see the truth of the whole situation. You'll see in a deeper regimen. You'll see the actual thing at play, the actual thing at hand, the actual event that's occurring. And again, it comes from this non-eclipse, not seeing something from a one point of view, not seeing something from the light shining from behind it, seeing the light as it is, allowing yourself to delve into the waters, to silence the dogs, the consciousness. Dogs represent masculine energy, cats represent feminine energy. Not reacting so much because you're unable to see the full picture, allowing yourself to sit stable. You have your two temples there as well, the two towers that are two temples, and allowing yourself to go back into the water to see what's going on. It wasn't time to emerge from that water yet. Something hit the surface and the ruffles formed, and that made you jump out because something new happened. The senses were inflamed. The senses caught onto something. Moving on from that. And again, I keep looking at the Libra energy and the necromancy card as well. It's all about balancing out the past. Not that the past is returning, but understanding that the past never was a thing. The future really isn't a thing. It's all now. So even though things may be coming back to have the same energy from the past, why do they have the same energy from the past? Why is the past still something in your energy? When something comes to you for healing, it's coming to you in the now. It may bring up something that you pushed down, but it was time for it to resurface at this point in time now, currently. And that's what you have to look at. Nothing from the past can come to you because it's been bottled down. It never really left. It's just been ignored. It's been pushed down to the deepest depths. And then all of a sudden you're faced with something and your memory makes that connection, and then boom, it pops up again. And now you're faced with something that may have happened in the past in the present. And it's not about focusing on the past. When the healing journey is there, that's why you close your eyes and not even close your eyes, but just get in a quiet place where you're able to calm your mind, getting into a meditative energy and being like, what do I need to heal from? What is the heaviest thing on my heart right now? What is the thing that I know that I can handle and work through at this point in time? It will occur. It will show itself to you. Allow yourself to see it happen in real time. Allow yourself to go through it in time and say, you know what? I have to heal from these things. They're coming at me right now. What reaction can I have differently? Even if that reaction that you're doing differently is just you not externalizing anything. You just being like, you know what? I'm just going to sit out from this one. I don't want to do anything. You have a reaction that's bad or just a reaction that's not wanted. I don't want to do this right now. Or your reaction is usually, I have to go smoke to get rid of this. You don't smoke that time. You see what it's trying to show you. You end up like panicking or distracting yourself. Don't distract yourself this next time. Look at it. See what it is. Understand you have the power. And just say, show me what's useful. Tell yourself that I want to heal from this, but I only need what's needed right now. Don't bombard me, but show me what's most important at this time right now. And the rest will come through. And a lot of people who go through the healing journey, because these things aren't necessarily taught, they're learned when you go down the journey. And a lot of people say not to tell other people this information because it can ruin their journey. But at the same time, not everyone knows what to do. Not everyone actually has the capacity to understand these things right now. It's all a psychological thing at the end of the day. And you really have to understand that even though you give them the key, that doesn't mean they're immediately healed. they have to walk that path. Just because you have a key doesn't mean that you know what door it goes to. You then have to walk that path. You just now know why you're walking that path. Now you know the outcome of that path. Now you're giving yourself more of a reason to go. Sometimes you do need motivation, and it's the point of it all. A lot of people want to still try and gatekeep information, like, oh, you're stopping people from their healing journey. The only person stopping that person from their healing journey is really themselves. It doesn't matter what you say. You could tell someone up and down everything about them, but if they don't digest it, we'll ingest you, whatever. If they don't take it in and allow it to marinate and change how they are, it's not going to do anything for them because they haven't took that physical action. And again, we have home that wants to come out. So with home being 10, that's what's going on, is the journey of going home, of returning to who you are, of going back to your original path. It's not that you were on a wrong path, but when you jump onto any sort of journey, it gets you discombobulated. You'll be amazed or concerned or just curious about all these other things going on around, and you tend to shift your focus on things for a while, and that's okay. But it's all about being able to come back to yourself after a long time of studying. Don't forget to jump back into your own practices. You had the experiences of other practices. You can go back to your own. It's not a bad thing. It's a lot of things to do with differences, and that's the whole. It's like sometimes when you're put in communities, you feel like you have to act a certain way. You can't be different, but that you can. Allow yourself just to live the journey that you desire to live. Your journey is not for everyone. It's not about having a religion. A religion is just a way of life made by oaths and binds. You don't have to force those binds on other people. That's not the point of it. The point of it is you understanding what oath you agreed to, what contracts you signed, what you're agreeing to, and moving on with it. Any information you're given can be put into your pocket. It might not be for you. It might be for someone else. It might be for no one. But look at it that way. Return back to your home, to your security, to your true nature, and not allow anything else to change you. This is the part of the transformation. You lost yourself. You end up losing yourself a lot on this journey. You lose old versions of yourself. You lose new versions of yourself. You lose versions of yourself you didn't even know you could have. But that's okay, because those weren't meant for you at this time. It's all about transforming, about metamorphosizing, leaving that nest. Once you're home, you're free. Once you leave that nest, you realize that that nest isn't the caterpillar's home isn't the cocoon. The caterpillar's home is the world. And when it grows its wings and turns into a butterfly, it leaves its cocoon. It goes, explores its entire home, its world. Allow yourself to do that. We have friendship and focus. There's a lot of arrows on this. So being very focused with where you're trying to go, knowing what direction, even if it's like making friends, and again, being friendlier to yourself or doing something. Maybe you met friends and you're afraid to show who you truly are. Don't be afraid to do that. Show who you truly are. The curiosity factor in people is what most people crave to have. You know what I mean? A lot of people I think that one person needs a friend because they waited this whole time to type that again. I'm sorry. I hope you heal. Whoever you are on the other side of that screen, I just hope you heal. There's no way you waited that long to respond just to say that again. That's wild. That's that's wild. Why do you think I'm from India? Hold on. I just hope that person healed. They gotta go heal. They got issues of their own. Goodness gracious. That's just funny. That is just wild. Oh, man. No, but with friendships and focus on connections. Focus on how you're trying to connect with yourself. Where do you belong in this world, but how are you able to create connections in this world? Understanding that, what can you do in this world to allow yourself to create those connections, to have a more focused energy on what you're desiring to do, finding people that resonate with you or your ideas, no matter what their religion or their spirituality, whatever their way of life is, doesn't matter. It's about the idea, it's about the spirit. You all might have different ideologies, but you can come together and form what you desire. Allow yourself to do that, because a lot of times, because I don't know if anyone else went through this, but I certainly did. On my journey, I for some reason for a while thought that I couldn't be friends or reach out to people that weren't spiritual or like knew what I knew in the sense of like what I studied. And that I don't know why that projection was a thing. I don't know why the egregore of of the community does that or what causes that. But you are allowed to like be friends with whoever. Not all of your friends have to be like awake, and you don't have to wake up all your friends. You can simply enjoy the ways of life, but don't allow their way of life stop you from doing what you desire to do. Like, don't allow how other people are living affect you in that way. A lot of people end up missing on really solid connections because of that, you know. And you know, if don't allow yourself to be judged and belittled for who you are either. Allow yourself to just accept that not everyone is meant to wake up, and that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay to not have everyone be on the same page as you. It gives you more character. It allows you to be more acceptable. And not acceptable with society's term, but more acceptable to yourself. Because a lot of times we miss the opportunities that we're desiring because we don't think that we belong in there due to how someone else is acting. I don't know, because it feels like, I think that's like a spiritual superiority thing. I don't know where it comes from fully. I have to like think about it. I might do like a video or like where I share my thoughts on it or something, because like it's very interesting. Because I've heard a few people talk about it, like, oh, you don't be making friends with people who aren't spiritual because X Y Z. Like like that doesn't mean anything though. Everyone's the experience on Earth is spiritual and by default. You know what I mean? Your soul tribe doesn't have to be spiritual. Your soul tribe is just people that your soul remembers from past lives and you connect with. Sometimes they don't want to wake up this lifetime. Sometimes they don't want to take the next step and evolve. That's okay. Don't allow yourself to prevent what you desire. The life will become sufferable in that sense. And though like in life life has sufferings on its own. You don't need to add any more else on it. You know what I mean? So allow yourself to focus on what you're desiring, on what you want to connect with. And don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's such a weird energy to talk about. I'm gonna have to make like a whole video or something. I'm gonna have to like start making notes on it. But again, we have relief. I'm gonna take the bottom and the split. So yeah, relief, healer, and passion. Allow yourself to release any form of old resistance, any form of old feelings of betrayal that either you went through for yourself or seen from someone else. However, allow yourself to go through it. Allow yourself to heal, rekindle that fire. Allow yourself to reinvent yourself in the sense of, what have I done in the past that I actually do not agree with? What in my past have I gone through that I don't agree with? Who's in my life now that I agree with and that I'm not necessarily wanting? Allow yourself to live more of a fulfilling and fruitful life for yourself, rather than worrying about the looks of it or worrying about letting someone else down. It's about you at the end of the day and what you desire to do. Living for someone else is only going to get you hurt in some way, form, or fashion. So understand that. We're gonna get a few of the angel cards, and we're gonna bounce out of here. I might get another video uploaded today. I have a lot. I have a lot of things I'm working on in the background. I kind of want to make more meditation music because I've been in that mood for a while. But we'll see how the day goes. I'll definitely get something out though, for sure. I'm gonna shuffle 3 more times, actually. I'm gonna shuffle 2 more times. I guess I don't want to throw any more cards out. And then I lied to myself. There's more cards just flew out everywhere. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead. We have the 8 of Raphael. There is something better waiting for you. Do what you know is right for you in a spiritual quest. The King of Raphael, warm, generous, honorable, and refined. Yes, it's safe to trust the ability to accomplish many things at once and follow your creative passions. The 6 of Gabriel, congratulations, you've done a wonderful job. Time to move on to the next project, awards, scholarships, or promotions. The King of Michael, principled, rational, ambitious, and respected. Wisdom and objectivity are important now. Stay in your integrity, a situation that calls for honest and open communication. The 7 of Gabriel, stand up for what you believe in, have confidence, and claim your personal power. The Page of Ariel, an excellent opportunity will be offered to you. Scholarships or the pursuit of education. Time to get to work. If you are feeling like going to school for something, if you don't have the funds for it, start going online. There's online courses that you can take. I forgot the name of the app, but there's like this free app that you can get that has free courses on it. You can go on YouTube and look up these courses, you know what I mean? Not everything has to cost finances, especially if you're just trying to learn something new. There's so many resources that exist in this day and age. So don't be afraid to do those other resources as well. We have the Queen of Gabriel, passionate, charming, brilliant, and independent. You can do anything right now. Go after what you want, the ability to attract helpful people. And last but not least, 2 of Gabriel, make bold and ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision. And that is the little reading. Despite how, despite how weird the energy were at first, we pushed through. But thank you all for stopping by. Thank you, God, Mother, Father. Thank you, all the spirits, angels, ancestors, best ever loved ones, souls, and spirits respectfully, and thank you, collective, for being here as well. I greatly appreciate all of you. If you're interested in any of my services, the Malachi Z workbooks, or anything of that nature, all the information's in the description. Thank you all so much for everything. The likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations. I forgot how the outro went for a minute, so I'm trying to remember. But thank you so much for the likes, comments, subscribes, donations, wherever they are, energetic or financial. I appreciate them tenfold and wholly and truly. But I love each and every one of y'all to the moon and back, tenfold and forever, and I will see you later.